Welcome everybody to stage 18 of the Tour de Beer. A different beer every day of the Tour de France. I am Uncle Frank. This is Team Beer Guts. Welcome aboard. We're pretty late into the stage. Hopefully you've been following along. If you're new to the channel, what we're doing is a different beer every day of the Tour de France. What we're going to do after the Tour de France? I don't really know, but you should stick around. For those of you who have been joining along, totally thank you for that. It's great. And if you've just stumbled across the channel, hopefully you dig this kind of stuff. Quick recap of the race, and then we're going to talk about beer and review a different style. So like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so you know there's a new video coming out, and tell your friends about it, because this is what we do. We drink beer to ride, and then because it takes guts to ride, and then we have beer to recover. That's us, Team Beer Guts. Anyway, today's stage. Where do I begin? There's so much, and I know you guys are tuning in for beer, so I want to focus on the beer and give a quick race recap. But there was so much that happened today. I actually had to take notes to figure out what was going on today. What a really, really good stage. You saw me reaching. You saw that I tried to be coy. There's no coy. Yeah, I have notes to just talk about what happened today. And let's just go with the feed and what I felt. And I mentioned yesterday that I thought what Ineos was trying to do with how they were trying to play their cards close to the chest, and it didn't really work out for them. Try to do it again, but everybody knew at that point, no, you're not going to bluff us again. We're going to push you to the point. And Tadej Pogačar is, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, watching this guy ride is so exciting. He now has the yellow jersey, the white jersey, and the polka dot jersey. If Cavendish didn't come in the time cut, and this might be something I should look at, would he also be in contention for the green jersey? And if so, when is the last time that someone did that had all four jerseys? I don't know. But he's got 3 right now, and that's pretty damn exciting. Tadej Pogačar is someone we need to keep an eye on. I really feel bad that Primož Roglič is not part of this race right now, because I want to see that excitement. But this thing that he's building with Vingegaard, wow. Can you imagine like Vingegaard in there too, and then you had Primož Roglič? Oh, amazing. Today's stage was one that I thought was built for someone that I like to follow and cheer for in Julian Alaphilippe. And then he cracked. And I feel like he had too much of a chance to, or too much of an effort, excuse me, trying to bridge that gap to get to that front group. That front group became 5, and then of the 5, only 4 of them wanted to work. I was like, well, dude, why are you even here? Get out. And that was just too much effort for him. He couldn't sustain. Anybody else that I wanted to root for? I don't know. Here's some guys who used to ride for EF, and they're doing pretty good. You might get King of the Mountains points, but no, and then you cracked. Rigoberto Urán, and then you cracked. And I'm very surprised at that, because it's a shorter stage today. One that I felt like they'd be able to push, attack early, and hold on. I feel like these other guys who've been able to do that and not hold on, well, it's a shorter stage. You're going to be able to hold on. I don't know. Why couldn't they hold on? Because today was one of the most ultimate climbs in the Tour de France, in the Tour de France history. It's one of the biggest climbs they ever do, and they go to visit it every year. So what are we picking today? Another big beer. That's right. Big beer, big climb, Bigfoot. Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. barley wine style ale, and this is one of the biggest beers you can find out there for big beer styles. We talked about Belgian triples, we talked about Russian Imperial stouts. Yeah, barley wine is the other one that I would throw in there. There are a few other big styles too, but there's three classics that I would throw in this mix for big beers of what you want to have at the end of the night. You're going to sip through it, or you have it as a nightcap. So, let's talk about barley wine. Again, great stage. If you weren't paying attention, I spoiled it for you. Sorry, not sorry. Oh well. You should have known that I was going to talk about the race. Let's talk about Russian Imperial... yeah, we did that yesterday, sorry. Let's talk about barley wine. I was just so excited to talk about big beer. And look at how that pours. That is a beautiful, beautiful beer right there. I wish I had better lighting. Maybe I should have done this in the other room so you could really see what's going on. Let's see if I can find a way so you can really get the highlight of this particular beer. Another beer you should have in a tulip glass. This is a Sierra Nevada tulip glass I had for their 30th anniversary. And it's so wonderful. But you want a beer like this that is aged in a tulip glass, because aged beers present lots of different aromas, and that aromatic quality is what's going to define if the beer has aged well or not. Is it oxidized? Does it smell like old pennies? Does it smell like sheets? Does it smell like barnyard? And if it's not meant to be a sour, it should not. Or does it smell like malt? Does it smell like hops? Does it smell like alcohol? Guess what we have here? Yeah, those last three. Wonderful, wonderful beer as far as the aroma goes. I'm going to try something right here. And we're going to do... Because I do all these in one shot. So if it doesn't come out in one shot, oh well. So... Oh, okay, good. Looks like we're back. I was trying something different, and it didn't work. Oh well. Let's talk about barley wine. What exactly is a barley wine? A barley wine is an ale brewed to wine strength, usually big in alcohol, obviously, but it should not taste like straight up alcohol, and it shouldn't taste like wine. Wine, sweet, sometimes dry, when you talk about a dry wine, but is so much alcohol, 14, 15, 16%. A barley wine could be somewhere in 9 to 10. It could go up to 11%. It shouldn't be much more bigger than that. And what you want in that is some dark malt flavors that have been fermented to wine characteristics. And what do I mean by that? What I'm talking about is it's not imperial stout, where it's just a lot of dark malts. These could be light malts. I once made a barley wine that was only Maris Otter, which is a pale style malt or a Pilsner style malt, but you boil it for 2 hours, you get some caramelization, you get some sweetness, you get a little bit of color, and then use all of those sugars, and then only use the sweetest, the biggest, the punch in the face of those sugars to be able to ferment out, to be able to give you high alcohol. English barley wine, American barley wine. A little bit sweet, malty, older ale. The American side is going to be hopped a little heavier, dry hopped. And what I have found with the American style is they dry hop it so big, in the beginning you can't really drink it. And then you need to let it age so those hop flavors melt out, and then it's super nice. So what do we have here? An American style barley wine that has been hopped appropriately, so you can drink it right away, but you can also age it. This one is from 2012. I have another one from 2014. I might just drink that later tonight. Your flavors are dark malt, dark fruit, raisins, plums, those types of things, some nuts. And people are like, plums? That's not what I want, plums and prunes. But when you have that alcohol balance to it, it's so good. And that is exactly what you want to be able to go in this style of beer. Again, another beer. Notice the head is super thin. Why? Alcohol. The alcohol is kind of hanging onto it and pulling everything else in. But having a slight head to it allows you to get some aromatics to this beer. And your aromatics are hops, raisins, grapes, fruit, and not grapefruit, but grapes and fruit. I get skin of fruit, I'm not really sure the outside when you buy like a good fruit, a melon, and you're like poking it and whatever. That's what I'm getting in there a little bit. What do you want to put this beer with? What do you want to pair a barley wine with? I know this will sound crazy. Cheese. Barley wine and cheese. And I talked about this a few videos ago, and hopefully you've seen some of those before. If not, please go back. I mean, check out all the videos. But I talked about how wine and beer are different, but very similar. And if you take a sip of wine and you eat a piece of cheese and you have the same sip of wine, it will taste different. Why? Because the cheese will coat your palate, and then you don't get some of those aggressive flavors. In wine, it's tannins. In beer, it could be husk, it could be any of that, but you're going to get the same thing. And I think this, with a Roquefort blue cheese, would be wonderful. Put that on crackers, you put that on an appetizer plate, oh yes. So barley wine it's not going to go with your meal. It's just not. This is something you have by the campfire. This is something when you have just chilling out. This is something that you have as your dessert beer. It can be Americanized, it can be over hopped, and you can put them away for a long time. And each year, you can put a different version away and see how they change year to year to year. So, American barley wine, Bigfoot style, Bigfoot barley wine, so good. And this is one that we are having today because they finished in the mountains, and we have more of the Tour de Beer and the Tour de France coming up. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and drink good beer. Cheers, Uncle Frank. I'm out.